Hey, Rhonda, we're the Thorntons. My name is Luke. This is my wife, Tara. And we have three kiddos, Alea, Brandon, and Isaac. And we fostered our first two kiddos about 7 years ago in Amarillo, Texas, where we were living. And then we fostered and adopted our third child in Georgetown, Texas. So we live in Georgetown, Texas. And our second time around, we wanted to encourage other folks to come and join in the process. And so we went around to different folks in our church and asked if they wanted to consider foster care, and several of them signed up. And then through that effort and through some connections that we made, we then kind of formed a team, and what we call it is the Family Restoration Team. And through that team, we are able to identify and recruit folks from our church family who want to be in foster care. And then we are able to provide support for those families through prayer and bringing them things that they need, supplies, and just kind of encouraging them in whatever way they need it. And then as we became more and more involved in that process, we discovered that we wanted to kind of reach out to these broken families where these kids were coming from to see if we could help try and give them an opportunity to turn things around and have some resources, and obviously introduce them to Jesus and give them an opportunity to know Him. And so we've been able to kind of establish a ministry for them. And then also we became friends with, essentially, and got to know a lot of the CPS workers through that process. And so we've developed a really close relationship with them also. And so a lot of what has come out of the Family Restoration Team and what we've built on over the last several years matches very closely with what the Isaiah 117 house aims to do. And so we've kind of noticed that as we've started to look into partnering with you guys. And so that is kind of our history and where we're at. And now I'll turn it over to Tara to kind of give you some detail about the need in our area.
So we live in Georgetown, Texas, which is 30 minutes north of the capital, which is Austin, Texas. And Georgetown is in Williamson County. And in our county, there were 389 kids in foster care in the year 2020. And what you need to know about our county is that it's situated right in the middle of the I-35 corridor. So north of us is Bell County and south of us is Travis County. So in Travis County, there were over 1,800 kids in foster care last year. And in Bell County, there were over 1,600 kids in foster care last year. And that's important to know because if you look at Williamson County, you might think, well, that county doesn't have as many kids in care. But our county helps with the kids from Travis and Bell County. So anyway, I want to share a cool story about what God's doing in this area specifically. When we moved here, I kind of had a vision and a dream that the Lord gave me, and I started praying about a house of refuge. I just kind of felt like He was calling me to not just open our home to foster kids that eventually have become our family, but some other home, like a home and some land and a place of refuge for kids in need and families, and something bigger than just our family. So I've been praying for that for a while. And then this year, there's been these kids, hundreds of kids in our state. In our town, there have been kids sleeping in the CPS office because there's a lack of foster homes for them. And so our church ministry that Luke was talking about has been able to activate all these volunteers to serve the kids that have been sleeping in the offices by taking meals and doing laundry. And in doing all of this, we've become so close with our CPS office and our CPS workers, and even, a few higher ups at CPS. Like, it's really cool, the connections that we have there. And all this kind of started in May, really getting to be involved with CPS so much day in and day out. And then over the summer, one of the guys that volunteers from our church and is just a supporter of foster care ministry asked me, what do we need next? And I said, well, we need a house. Thinking that's just kind of a big ask, but we'll see what happens. Well, a month later, he emails me and he says, hey, I've got some acres and I want to build a house. I want to build a house. I don't want these kids sleeping in an office anymore. That's not okay. And so I thought that was really awesome. And I have no idea what to do with that. That's kind of a big thing to handle. And right after he emails me and tells me about this, then I get an email inviting me to come to the Waco kickoff meeting for an Isaiah 117 house. I had never heard of an Isaiah 117 house. So when I started reading through the email and watching some of your stuff online, I got pretty excited. So I brought one of our friends from CPS from around here to that kickoff meeting and another friend from church. And we came and we felt the love at the meeting and we just felt the excitement and the energy. And we saw how your vision, you know, the 3 things that you guys touch on with the kids on their removal day and the foster family support and then the support for the CPS staff members. We just felt like, yes, that's what our heart is for too. And so came home excited and I got to share with our team and with this guy that wants to provide the land and the house. And so I just feel like God has put together these connections with CPS and with our community and our church and the desires of our heart and the way it lines up with your mission. And I just think that God's going to do something big and that he put all this together at just the right time to meet the needs in our community. And so I really hope that you say yes to us and to Georgetown and that we can work together to be the hands and feet of Jesus to kids and families and our CPS staff here in Georgetown, Texas. Thank you.